Alrighty, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. All right, so let's get it popping, guys. Today was FOMC day. I told you guys we had some craziness loading, and yeah, you see some craziness was definitely loading. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna go over the TA first. We're gonna jump into the daily time frame. Well, actually, we'll start off with the weekly time frame, then we'll go over the daily. Then we're going to go over the 4 hour, then the 1 hour. Then I'm going to actually show you, I'm going to give you some insight into the most recent Patreon trade idea. And shout out to any Patreons. I know you're banking. All right. So there you go. There you go. That's all I got to say, guys. It's an exciting day. I'm going to hit this for us. There we go. I'm actually going to mention right now as well. So we do have a crash course. So it's pretty much like a course. Well, yeah, that's in the name. It's a crash course. So it's the Patreon crash course. Whenever you enter the Patreon, you will get a an hour and a half to 2 hour long video that is literally just a course. Eventually, I will put together an actual course that will likely be on teachable.com that will have individual episodes of said course or sections of said course. And people will get access to that course when they enter the Patreon. All right, so it would be $39.99. You get that and a course. And the reason for the course is just so everybody has that baseline. So you could pretty much pay to, hey, jump up. All right, wherever you are on your journey. If you're less than where I am, there's your course for it. All right, and then of course the course will just be available to buy outright. It'll probably be around $100. Maybe I'll just make it $100. And then, yeah, so you get access to that if you do that, or you could just buy it. But as of today, that is going to be the welcome video. So I look forward to, people getting to experience that. So if you are interested in that, there you go. I'm going to start off by mentioning the actual the trade idea that we actually just entered right here at the top. I entered when this bad boy was at, just about 275.50. But yeah, I am in the May 19th. What are these? The May 19th, 240 puts. We're already up. We're up 12%, baby. All right. So I entered with a half position there. I am looking for rejection. The only reason I only did half, I'm not taking the full position right like that, because we do have that increasing buy volume here, which suggests we could end up getting that fall through tomorrow. And that's not something that I am, I want to, hey, all right, I want to be ready for that. That is the purpose of the trade plans that we, that comes with each and every trade idea on the Patreon. All right. And, I'll actually also say shout out to anybody who took the second entry on the 305 puts with me. All right. From that entry, you would actually be up just about 70%. So there you go. All in one day. If anybody was wondering what we do on the Patreon and in the community, there is that. All right. So congratulations to anybody who enjoyed those gains. All right. So let's get into the TA. Let's do it. All right, so we're going to start off with the weekly time frame over here on QQQ, and I want to point out that we did now make that divergent high. All right, because of what has just been said, we're going to talk about what he just said at the end of the video, but we're going to go over the TA first because that is what we cover here on the channel. I think that is going to be the most important part of this video. All right, but yeah, you did poke your head up above over there, so now you have a divergent high. Your CCI has that the bearish divergence going on over here. We did have the increasing buy volume last week with the bullish engulfing candlestick, which suggested buyers were going to give you that fall through this week. There you go. You definitely ended up getting that. But yeah, guys, I'm just saying we definitely do have the bearish divergence over here on the daily time frame as well on QQ, and now you have a down day accompanied by increasing sell volume. So this does suggest that QQ is going to have a down day tomorrow. We did have VIX suggesting that we had an down day loading on SPX over the following two trading sessions after getting this big fat minus 11.47 day yesterday. All right, so it's either going to be today or tomorrow that we get that red day on SPX, and it does look like it was going to be today. It is 3:11 Eastern Standard Time. All right, so, there is some time before close, but with what was just said, I think the market's probably, we've probably just peaked with the Fed. All right. I do think we're going to go down. I'm going to share my thoughts because we do have quite the conflicting setup right now, but ultimately, I think it makes decent sense for me at least. But I'm also not someone who I don't really care to have these midterm expectations here. I'm going to continuously play what's on the chart, and against all odds, guys, yeah, we continued to nail it over there. I'm just playing what's literally on the chart, guys. And holy sweet baby Jesus, did we catch that move? That's freaking crazy. All right. Hey, if you guys want a community and some help to do this with, I got you. All right. And of course, you get that crash course that will have $100 worth of value. But yeah, if someone that I saw had proof of concept and I was a newbie, I would 100% pay $100 to get to pretty much get a higher baseline. Why would you not? But yeah, you got that going on, and then you also have you have a big fat wick right here as you come up to SPY's trend line here, which this is where I was saying we naturally should be looking for rejection. I am sorry, Patreon members. I told you guys yesterday that if we pop up here, I will be alerting 395 puts with the March 31st expiration. If some of you took it, congratulations, you nailed it. I said if we get a tap of 400, I will be opening those up on the spot. I did not. I freaking forgot. Okay, crap, man. All right. But yeah, all right, another example of what you're getting, I guess. So congrats to any Patreon member who did end up loading those up, because I completely forgot with all what we had going on. But you know, QQQ, we did end up nailing that. And then we did also end up, you know, NVIDIA did that thing, which if you're looking at NVIDIA right now, I'm just going to point this out. Last time you rallied up I mean, this was a long-term rally, what you got going on here. Different conditions made up this rally over here. I think we probably just made a lower high. All right. And then you're probably going to, first target is going to end up being that 258.20 gap fill right there. Oh, never mind. Wait. You know what? No. It's still going to be a gap. It's still not a gap fill. It's still going to provide a reaction spot to be played. All right. So first target is going to be there. And then the second target is going to be this 242, which was previous resistance, which clearly you see right there. All right. So there's that. But ultimately, guys, I do think you are going to make your way back down to 211. I just want to point out, all right, you've had a history of this, all right, of these explosive, impulsive moves up, and then you so harshly fade them off, guys. So harshly fade them off. So, hey, guys, if you want to make some money and you don't have money, you're like, you know, like, hey, you know, I want to join the community, but let me make some money first and see some proof of concept. Hey, take this bad boy. But then again, I'm also going to remind you, hey, you can't be picking and choosing. They are high probability trade setups. And, well, you're going to see in the crash course. All right. That will all be in there. But yeah, guys, this is something that I think is going to tank the market. This and Apple. So we're going to go look at Apple, but I also want to point out something that happened on Apple today, which, like, hey, we're going to have to see if we got that weekly breakout, if it's holding right now. I am not sure with what just took place. But yeah, market cap right here is 670 billion. So you come over here, which, by the way, it was like half of that over here. Oh, no, it was 1/3 of that. So this is the great short, guys. That is what I'm getting at. This is something that will likely end up dying. And you have the bearish divergence going on in your CCI, and your RSI is back in overbought territory. Even if it's just going to be something like this, 208 down to 282, that is a $20 to $30 move to be played. All right, guys, when the market gives you money, we're going to take that money. All right. And I really just, I was trying my hardest not to step in front of this thing and get squeezed with the rest of them. But yeah, I mean, we ended up, it ended up working out perfectly. It fell right into our hands here. But yeah, I do think NVIDIA is probably topping. If not, it's going to make its top here in this zone here. So that is what I'm going to be watching there. You do have the increasing buy volume, which suggests you could have that fall through tomorrow, which is why I took that half position. There is that. And that is the same over here on QQQ, which is another thing, suggests like, hey, all right, you could end up doing that. Like we did have this little wick going on from 303.50 about there all the way down to 301 over here. So that's like a $2 wick. We have a rather large wick right here. So this definitely does look like a topping tail to me, I would say. We have like a topping tail right there, topping tail right there. Have one right there, right there. All right, so it does suggest more downside, but I will say the volume is increasing here. The buy volume is increasing. So that does suggest we could see some upside. And I wouldn't be surprised for SPY to literally just hang around up here right at resistance, which, I mean, hey, guys, if it's not going to crack the resistance, the more time it stays up here, the more time sellers accumulate and then shove you down. This is my personal opinion there. All right. But yeah, jumping over to IWM and DIA's weekly timeframes. This is the only real weekly chart I really want to show you guys. Obviously, QQ is still up here, but we do have that new bearish divergence. The 313.68 target has been hit, guys. Congratulations to anybody who ended up playing that one. yeah, congrats. All right. And I'm going to mention right now, if you are making money off this channel, if you're finding value in this content that we provide for absolutely no cost to you each and every day, please support the channel with a like. It would heavily help me out in reaching other people. So, hey, please support the channel. And yeah, let's get back into it. But over here on IWM, you have the opposite scenario of QQQ. So QQQ is the one suggesting you can have downside. Oh, by the way, guys, when targets get hit, you take your profits. Okay? You take your profits, man. You take your profits. That is something that always should be happening. It doesn't matter, guys. There are people in my comment section that pop up every now and then claiming I'm like, most of my stuff is wrong. But in reality, if you looked back, no, I can clearly tell that these are people who just came on one of my videos. Like someone said, I was calling for massive downside, and now I was looking for upside over here, right? And they're saying I was flipping back and forth. And now the guy is telling me, he said he'd be back. Well, guess what? The guy got squeezed this day. I think he probably got squozed that day too. Oh, guess what? He got squozed again this day. So I didn't see him come back on my channel. He told me he would be back. He's not back. But I'm just going to say right now, there are people like this, and anytime you see one of these comments, I know right off the bat, they just don't consistently follow along with the channel, because if you do, you'd see that, no, guys, we continuously call moves out here on the indices consistently. It happens, okay? And I was calling for, like I was saying, a top, like it doesn't make sense to not be topping here. You can't not top here, or inflation's gonna go absolutely bonkers with the wealth effect. It made absolutely no sense that we were doing what we were doing over here. Every single index had its weekly oscillators over in overbought territory. Come over here to DIA, IWM. Well, guess what, guys? This was all here. This was January 30th. All right. Well, guess what? Over here on SPY, this is literally where your top was. Oh, guess what? Your boy called that over here. You were hitting 70 on your RSI on SPY and QQQ. Oh, guess what? That was the top. All right. So I don't understand how people, like, you know, come up with these opinions of what we cover here on the channel, the content. So my only conclusion is like, hey, these are the people who watch a video and go away. Or they're the perma bears or bulls who literally, like, they confirm their bias with my content. And then, like, oh, now 9% has gone by and somehow we haven't seen any downside yet. No, that's $30. That's $40 here on SPY to be played. And then that's $30 here on QQ to be played. I don't know how someone comes up with these opinions. I don't get it, all right? So all I'm getting at is, guys, we do consistently call things here on the channel. If you would like to be a part of that, hey, I'll be here for you, all right? I am serving the people. If you are a fan of what you're hearing right now, hey, maybe this is the place for you, all right? You did end up wicking up here on SPY to this point where we were naturally expecting sellers to step in. Like I said, like, congrats to anybody who did end up pulling the trigger on 395 puts. You literally came all the way down and almost got those suckers in the money. You probably just had 100% trade there on your hands. There you go. Congrats to any players. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we did end up making this higher low over here, and then we have the higher high. So I'm going to have to watch what happens here at this gap fill. All right, this is the reaction spot that I'm going to be searching for. But I'm going to point out right now that it makes perfect sense to me that we are going to start selling off at least to that point. Okay, if not, we can, like, we're going to have to see this trend. Like, do we hold? All right, do we come back down and test this low? If we test it, then hey, trend change is on the table. All right, but I'm going to go over, I'm going to come back to the weekly chart over here on IWM and DIA, and you're going to see, like, hey, yes, QQQ is overbought right now and it has that weekly bearish divergence, but it still can move up higher. You have that weekly RSI over here on QQQ. It still has some room to go. I know it's not loading right now. Come on, buddy. Yeah, man, Mr. Buddy. There you go. And then you come over to the daily time frame, and we are very close to 70, but you still have room to go. So I'm just saying that can be something that goes down. All right. Like, we can move a little higher here and then cool off, but you do have the bearish divergence of the weekly CCI there and the daily CCI, which, like, hey, that's pretty powerful in my opinion. All right. Plus, like, this is where the target was. This is where I'd expect sellers to come in. The people who completely were blindsided here, all right, they're going to be waiting here. All right. And even if it's just a feeble push back, all right, or pull back, I still expect you likely get said pullback from the sellers. All right. And so I'm going to be watching here this 306.30 gap fill that just literally came, let's see, it was, yeah, 10 cents from closing yesterday. All right, and then it bounced off of there. That is more proof of concept of the gap fill 80% reversal rule that we go over here on the channel quite often. But yeah, all right, I am expecting you to move back down there, all right, and then spy. I mean, I'm just saying, I listened to what Jerome said, and it's not like he said anything crazy bullish. He didn't say anything crazy bearish. I think for this reason, I think we see TA play out, all right, and we got the 25 BP hike, which is enough to instill that, like, hey, all right, like, they're not panicking, and not only is he showing that he means it, but he also was sweet talking, saying that a banking crisis is not in our hands right now. I'm paraphrasing here, all right? I did not take notes today. I did not have time. I was actually at the gym when this was all going down. So there was that. But, well, when the rate hike announcement, I whipped home to listen to Jerome's comments. But yeah, he was like, I'm not going to say he was sweet talking the market. I'm not going to say like he was, you know, trying to make the market die. It was literally a mix. It was in between. He was trying to ensure that everyone knew that the banking crisis was not going to be like, it's not going to be a crisis. All right. They're not going to have, like, you know, FD, like, all deposits are insured. I believe that is exactly something that he did end up saying. All FDIC deposit are, they're covered. All right. Well, I guess, yeah, I'm paraphrasing there. But because of this is like why I'm saying like some was bullish, some was bearish. All right. He didn't like give candy to the baby. He didn't take the candy away. It's just kind of, you know, the baby is just sitting there. It's whatever. All right. It's completely whatever. It's got the candy in his hand. He's just waiting to see, like, hey, is Jerome going to take it or not? But also, like, I don't know if Jerome's going to take it. We're going to have to see. Like, maybe it's going to be going back to, like, data. So we're going to have to see. We'll go over here in tomorrow's video. We'll go over the economic calendar. But maybe it comes back down to data. Do we get inflation tick it back up again? Because the Fed did just say that they will do whatever it takes. Whatever they need to do is what they're going to do. That is what he just told us, all right? He also said that they have the tools required to do whatever it takes, and they're strongly committed to returning down to a 2%, their 2% inflationary goal. He also, another thing he said, that they revised the SEP, I think it was end of next year inflation expectations up to, I think he said it was either 4.5, 4.75, I'm not sure, percent. But again, I'm not sure on that one. I am paraphrasing on this. I did not take notes, so I'm not looking at anything. This is all off my memory. But yeah, all right, there was that. So ultimately, like, it really isn't like, you know, it's not good, it's not bad. So I really do think technicals are going to play out. And the last time this happened, technicals did end up playing out. You were here. So let's go over, turn that on. All right, so your RSI was at 68. Right here, it's at 65, all right? So if we have one more update tomorrow, just like there, we have our blow-off pop right there, and boom, all right? You can end up fading that. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. You do have that increasing buy volume, though, which suggests, like, hey, it's in the cards. You can be taken above this high today, which was at 315.25. So that is personally what I'm open to. Okay, but I think it probably is going to be you putting in a short-term top, if not a midterm top, all right? But I say short-term, I'm thinking that's more likely what we end up getting, all right? Because of what I've been pointing out here on IWM and DIA, like not only what I got here on the daily IWM RSI over here, what I've been pointing out, you got the weekly CCI on IWM and DIA starting to turn up from oversold territory, all right? You also have the stochastic crossing up. Like, so any pullback here, I think you're probably going to hold where you already held here on DIA, all right? You did a very good job at holding it. I don't know if it's going to happen. You literally did not get a candle close underneath, if I'm looking at this correctly, unless this was a close underneath. No, this wasn't a close. You closed right here, all right? And this, I also believe you closed at the high of day. Yeah, you closed at the high of day. So, like, I don't know. That's what I'm going to be watching here. DIA is going to continue to be our little canary here. But I'm just saying, QQQ fully suggests that we could end up seeing this pullback. Now, we didn't go over the lower time frames yet. But before we end up going over the lower time frames, I'm going to point out the pattern. And again, shout out to the Patreon. You guys are already going to get all this stuff nonstop. But hey, these YouTube videos, they are free content. I told you guys, I will be here for you, all right, each and every day, except for Sundays, all right? Sundays is my off day here on YouTube, all right? And if you ever don't see the weekend update, the weekly update, we'll call it, on Saturday, then it will be posted on Sunday. But yeah, right here, you have this shoulder right there. You have that head right there. You have a shoulder right there. So I don't know what's going to come out of this tomorrow. If you do tank and this is one fat wick, then I guess I would say that's pretty bearish. All right. But this is another thing suggesting buyers are going to be stepping back in. All right. So like maybe we do end up, maybe we hang out up here on QQQ for quite some time. QQQ suggests we get that pullback, but then Apple, like that is kind of like, I don't know here. That's the thing. I don't know. This is like a really big pattern. So like, I expect it's going to be respected. All right. And the target is crazy. It's all the way up here. Which that aligns with on the daily chart. You come right over here. This is literally where you topped out over here. All right, so that is the target for that, going off of the patternsite.com. Personally, I was expecting you to come up here, reject off that, come back down here, and maybe you find buying pressure stepping in here. If not, then, hey, it's false breakout and you're coming back down. It sucks, right? Bull trap. But this is the largest component on SPY and QQQ, so, like, if we do end up rallying crazy, right? I'm just saying, like, a big sell-off is in the cards, guys. Like, it really is. But, like, this is why I'm completely open to a pullback, all right? Look at this thing. Or if not, trend reversal, all right? But, like, pullback, I'll say at least is definitely in the cards. You have your RSI approaching 70. This is where every other time you can go higher. Like here, you went from 164 all the way to 176. You peaked out over here right when you hit 70 the first time. So 166, you pulled back a little bit, and then you went on to make a higher high at 176. All right, so this is honestly like I could see this happening. All right, I could see it, but that's what I'm getting at. A pullback likely should be taking place. I don't know how big that pullback will be. This one was just a $4 pullback, and then you like literally went back. And $4 would be a retest of that, and then you would be off. But yeah, the next point of resistance is going to be right here, this zone right here on Apple. And if you break that, I mean, you have nothing, guys. You're coming up, and you actually have this gap fill up here that we will, on the chart, the low of 171.31. Right, so make you green. All right. 17131. If you guys are new to the channel, just know that my yellow lines, those are targets. The green lines are always going to be gap fills. The blue lines and zones are just my levels. All right, that is my basic TA, trend lines, all that jazz. All right, that is that. So just a little channel key here if you're new. But yeah, like look at your CCI, like what the heck is this thing? And it's 3:30. You're almost to the end of the day. Yes, you can have that volume spike to bring that up. If you get lower volume, then yeah, I mean, that suggests you're going to be taking a dive tomorrow. But then again, QQ does have that increasing buy volume. But over here on IWM, like this is why I say like we can get a pullback, but I don't think it's going to be anything humongous. All right, this increasing sell volume does suggest we'll be taking lower than this low tomorrow, or we get a gap down. All right, and same over here on DIA. Well, like I said, like I don't think it's going to go far. Like that, it would be something like that. That's what I would be looking for. Then again, we are just going to have to wait and see what happens. I do have reason to believe we will be getting that pullback. All right, and then I'm expecting to go higher personally. I don't think what he's just said was terrible. And like I said, IWMDA, guys, I'm just going to play the charts, and charts suggest like, hey, once you come back down here, I'll let you guys know when I'm starting to see stuff pop up again. But like, yeah, we probably will not go much lower than where we just went on IWM or DIA. All right, which means like, you know, SPY could pull back, but maybe it doesn't go much lower. QQQ, that's what I'd want to short. All right, QQQ is the thing that likely gets a rather deep pullback. I'm not sure though. I will see. But yeah, 4-hour time frames, or smaller time frame time. All right. You got this going on right here. You made a divergent high there, and you have the bearish divergence on the not only your CCI, but you also do on your RSI. Let's see if it held. So you have a high of 70.02 there. You have a high of 69.70 on this candlestick right there. So yeah, you have a bearish divergence on the 4-hour CCI here, as well as the RSI here. All right, sloppy drawings there. And then you come over to SPY, and I believe we have the same exact thing. Yeah, so we have a 4-hour bearish. And keep in mind, this is right as we're coming into resistance on both of them. And you're in this rising wedge. We're going to go into the 1 hour and the 15-minute time frame to really show you what's going on with that wedge. but yeah, this is definitely something to take note of. All right, like this is another factor suggests like yes, we will be getting that sell off. And what he just said, I think it makes sense that we do end up at least getting some sort of pullback. All right, because you only got the 25 BP. And I think it's going to be bought up. I think that's what everything is suggesting to us. We come over here to the feeding here in greed index here, and we can reset that. It's at 41. All right, so it's kind of in this middle. It's almost a neutral. All right, so like we have room to run in either direction here. We're going to have fuel. You know, both. It's going to be a battle. That's what I'm getting at. All right, you come over here to the 1 hour time frame though on QQ, and you also have this bearish divergence going on right there. All right, so that is something to also note. And then, no, I think you broke. No, I mean you have it going from here to here on the hourly time frame on your RSI. But what I wanted to show you on the 15-minute time frame, it's being respected, guys. These trend lines here with the rising wedge are definitely being respected, and you are currently breaking down. All right, so I told the Discord that if you get a 15-minute candle close underneath this trend line here, the bottom one of this rising wedge, then you likely start breaking down towards 306.30. All right, and I think this because look, you haven't had a single candle close underneath it. All right, you've had candle closes above it. You got one right there, but you're still met with sellers. All right, you got over here, you're still met with sellers. All right. I think it's very likely that we just hit a short-term peak, or we're going to go up tomorrow and hit a short-term peak. But then again, some of these things that I'm calling out here, like the 4-hour bearish divergence here on QQ, that could be shredded through tomorrow. And if you get a divergence being shredded through, that typically ends in an impulsive move. All right, that's just what happens. All right, so I showed you guys that on QQ over on the 15-minute time frame there. All right, we're right at the edge of it. You come over here to SPX. All right, SPX was trading in a rising wedge and broke above it, and I kept this. I didn't adjust the trend line just because you could have adjusted it and taken out these touch points, but I think this is actually what's being respected here. All right, you had this over here, you got the buying, you were trying to hold it right there with that, and then boom, you get sucked back into it. There you go, another rejection. You flip it, there you go. Buyers start like literally flipping it. You bounce up into the trend line that is these this descending broadening wedge here. All right, and then boom, you were met with rejection off of that. You came down and tested that again, and you got that impulsive sell through it, and now you're coming back above it. There you go. And that was today. All right, so SPX and SPY probably isn't a wedge. We could probably find one here, all right, on the hourly or 4-hour time frame. And yeah, we can. I could clearly see one right here. All right, you could see it right there. All right, and then you could. It's a sloppy one though. I don't want it. No, this is not a thing, guys. Not a thing. It would be here to here, and I don't like that at all. That would just, no, we're not going to do that. Either way, guys, all right, this is where I was looking for rejection. This is the natural spot, 400 psych level. This is, unless you got some very bullish news today, you got a Fed pivot or a Fed pause, and by that I mean short-term bullish until the market realizes why they did that, because inflation didn't show that it's going down. What the heck? He just assured everyone that inflation showed that it's peeping his head back up. Look at DXY taking a dive, guys. By the way, this is just by default, this is going to put less pressure on the equity market, but this is only happening because of what's going on right now with the Fed. So, you know, we're going to ignore it. All right, that's what we're going to do. All right. All right, so I got something I got to show you guys in the weekly chart, what I think the bond market is suggesting. And other than that, that is the video. I will catch you guys in the next one. I do think we get some selling stepping in. I'm going to be looking at these gap fills for buying pressure. All right, so 394.17 on SPY, and over here on QQQ, 306.30. That is the next stop, in my personal opinion. All right, if not, obviously, I will play what is in front of me. The charts tell us what to do, and it's easy as that. All right. I'll remind you, hey, if you want to join the community, the link is down in the description below. Love to have you. You do get that crash course. All right. So that is going to be free with that. And then, yeah. All right. If you found value in this video, please support the channel with a like. That is the biggest way you could support us. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.